Good morning, everyone that's already logged in. Before we start, on your right-hand side, you're going to see a little box with a red box with an arrow. If you click on that box, on the bottom, you'll have the handouts. You can also use the chat to communicate with us. And on the handouts, you can download them or print them if you want. The only one that you need to really print is the bingo PDF. Because we're going to be playing bingo and there will be some prizes. Thank you. Good morning to those people that just joined in. We're getting very close to 9 o'clock. On your right-hand side, you're going to see a little box, a red box with an arrow. If you click on that box, you'll find all your handouts. You can print them or save them. The only one that you need to print is the bingo PDF. We will be playing bingo, and there will be some presents. And if you need to communicate with us or you have any questions, you can always use the chat. Good morning again. We already have 45 people. We are about to start. I don't know if Berta wants to give a little more time for people to continue logging in, but for those of you that just logged in, on your right-hand side on the top, you're gonna find a red arrow. If you click on that arrow, you will be able to see the handouts, which you can print, save them, and you will need to print your bingo PDF. We will be playing bingo and there will be some prizes. And you can also communicate with us on the chat. Under the handouts, you can see the chat if you have any questions. And I guess we will be waiting for a few more people to join in. Good morning to those people that just logged in. We already have 50 attendees. On your right-hand side on the top, you're going to see a red arrow, which is, if you click on that, you can see the handouts. You can print the handouts or save them on your computer. And also you will need to print your bingo PDF because we will be playing bingo and there will be some prizes. Under the handouts, you can see the chat and you can type messages there to communicate, ask questions or any comments you might have. And we should be starting pretty soon. Thank you. Okay, it looks like the people joining in is growing. We already have 60 people attending. Good morning to all those that just came in. On your right-hand side on top, you're going to see a red arrow. If you click on that red arrow, you will be able to see the handouts. The handouts are for you to print them or save them in your computer. The bingo, you should be able to print it because we will be playing bingo and there will be some prizes. Under the handout, you're going to see your chat, which is the way you can communicate with us. You can ask questions or make comments on that chat. Thank you all.
Good morning, everybody. I just also wanted to add to what Elena is saying, that we will be sending you a couple more emails with the I just wanted to add to what Elena was saying, that we will be sending a couple more
Yes, was that a yes?
handbooks.
Okay. All right, so everyone can hear me, yes?
Yes, we can hear you, Terry. Yes, we can
Okay,
hear
thank
you.
you. Good. Okay, everyone. Okay, everybody. Hello to everybody and welcome. My name is Terry Juarez. I am the Assistant Coordinator of the CACFP program for El Paso Human Services. I know that there are some of you that are still logging on, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'd like to welcome all daycare homes and daycare centers to our annual CACFP program, training. It is called the Rainbow After the Storm. And that is because we've been through so much with COVID that we're finally able to see some of the rainbow that's coming up after this huge storm that hit us. I'd like to say a couple of reminders before we get started. If you have come on to this training, of course you registered before. Make sure that if you have anybody else that is joining you in this training, that they do have to register before they join in so that they can receive a certificate at the end. I know that there are times that maybe they'll join you and watch it on your computer or your laptop, but you do have to register. Each individual has to register before so that each of you can receive a certificate. So if that is happening with any of your employees at your daycare, please have them register like you did before you came on to this training. Okay? Also, I wanted to remind you all that if you know anybody that is supposed to be on this training and hasn't yet registered and gotten on or isn't able to, please remind them that they do need to join this training. It is mandatory. And if they do not join in, they will not be able to continue with the food program. So please remind them that they do have to join in. We're having the English portion right now from 9 to 1 o'clock, and then there is a Spanish portion from 1 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. Okay? I also wanted to remind you all that when you sign in, when you register for the training and you're on here, to please stay on for the entire training. Don't sign in and walk away because the platform that we're on, it does track you all, and it lets us know whether you are watching the training and participating or not. So please stay on the training. It's only a couple of hours long. It's once a year. So please stay on and enjoy it. It's going to be fun and very informative as well. So again, welcome to our CACFP annual training. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our staff before we get started really quickly, just in case there are some of you that may not know us. And I'm going to ask every staff that I introduce to just please come on with their camera to show their faces as they are introduced. Thank you. Okay, so we do have, of course, Susana Reza, who is our Executive Director of El Paso Human Services. Welcome. We have Angelica Terrazas, who is our Assistant Director of El Paso Human Services. We have Bertha Chavez, who is the Coordinator of the Food Program. You have myself, I'm Terry Juarez, and I am the Assistant Coordinator of the Food Program. We also have Paulina Nájera, who is our receptionist. We also have Becky Gonzalez, who is our monitor for all centers. We have Jeanette Espino, who is also our monitor for centers. We have Carmen De Leon, who is our monitor for at-risk and summer food. We have Christine Moody, who is our program compliance specialist, and she does work with all enrollment forms and income eligibility forms. We also have Victoria Olguin, who is our CACFP compliance technician, and she also works with enrollment forms and income eligibility forms. We also have Elena Bradley, who is our claim processor, and she also will call you to remind you to please continue to take your attendance and keep your menus up to date. We have Claudia Sigala, who is in charge of doing our beautiful newsletter that you all get at least once a month, and she's also our claim processor. We have Araceli Hidalgo, who assists me with receipts and inventory. We have Patti Gonzalez, who is a daycare, home, center, and summer food monitor. And we have Ramon Chavez, who is our IT person in charge of all IT programming. And this is our wonderful El Paso Human Services CACFP Food Program staff. Thank you. Okay, I just want to remind you all also that Elena will be reminding you to download all of your forms, the handouts. It does show up on the right-hand side of your screen. Under handouts, you will see that you can download all of your handouts for this training. We also will be playing a bingo game soon, and prizes will be given out. So please join us on that bingo game. You can download your bingo card also under handouts. If you have any questions or concerns, please put them in the chat and we will answer them randomly. Okay, now let's get started. So our first presenter today will be Susana Reza, and it will be Coffee with Susana. Thank you all.
Thank you, Terry. Good morning, everybody. I know we got a bit of a late start this morning because, as always, there's technical difficulties and we don't use this platform but once a year. So please bear with us. But I want to greet everyone, and you are having coffee with me this morning as we kick off our training. By the way, this says Amazing Nana, because that's what I'm called here at home as a grandma. So I want to welcome all of you, and I really want to take a moment this morning to thank you all for your commitment and your service to the children of El Paso. This has been a very difficult year for everyone. We recognize that it's been very hard for some of you to stay open. We know that in many cases you had to close down your facilities and that you went through the task of serving grab and go just to be sure that children were getting fed here in El Paso. So I know that your daycare families appreciated what you did and what you continue to do for the benefit of our children. So from El Paso Human Services and from the bottoms of our hearts, we want to thank you all for what you do year round and for putting up with all of the changes and adjustments that we had to do this year. As you know, El Paso Human Services has been a sponsor of CACFP for 37 years now. We love our nutrition program, and we love being able to give daycare homes and centers this type of service and support. However, we're involved in many other areas of service in El Paso as well. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of our programs, and then you have an opportunity to ask me questions when I get done with that. So go easy, please. I'll try to have answers for you, and hopefully I'll have right answers for you. But we do have the experts on the sidelines, which is our staff, in case you ask me something that goes over my head. But I do want to talk to you about our different services, because El Paso Human Services started with CACFP 37 years ago, but we have grown into a large organization and we are providing a lot of good service in this community. And so I want to give those programs a little bit of highlight and just give you a brief overview of what we're doing. In the CACFP, you know that we do daycare homes, which is the program we started out with. We sponsor daycare centers, we sponsor at-risk programs, and we sponsor summer food, which is going on right now this summer. And that is where all the staff that you just met works in the CACFP. But the next largest, and that is the largest program here in the agency, Child and Adult Care Food Program, by far has been and always, I think, will be the largest program that we have under El Paso Human Services. But the next program that is in line is the Community Youth Development Program, or we've referred to it as CYD. We serve 975 children between the ages of 10 to 17 every year under this program. And this project is concentrated in Northeast El Paso and specifically in the 79924 zip code. We have 4 different subcontractors in order to provide after school and out of school programming to those children to prevent juvenile delinquency. Project Vida is one of those that offers after school programming and mentoring to children out there. The YWCA has a youth leadership and youth advisory council, and they do a lot of good work as well. We have Center of Hope, and they're presenting information on sex trafficking to youth and to parents so that they can be aware of the dangers out there in our community. The Skyline Optimist Club out there in Northeast offers basketball instruction and competition to young people. And then we have the Trans Mountain Charitable Trust organization that has soccer and softball teams for youth competition. Those are the subcontractors that we contract with to give services out in Northeast. They are stationed there, they work out of that location, of those locations, and they're available to offer services. All of these programs are free to children who live or attend school in the 79924 zip code. So if you're out there or you know somebody who's out there and they need activities for children, please let us know, and we'll coordinate with our program coordinator, Maria Silic, who runs that program out of there. We have the Winchester House Emergency Shelter. This is on site, and it's been the facility that has been open throughout the pandemic. We have not been able we can't close this facility because it runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Winchester House serves 80 young males at a homeless shelter that's located across the street from our administrative building, or what they call the green building. It's across the street and next to the park at 810 Montana. So it's within walking distance of El Paso Human Services. These young men who come into our shelter are homeless and are between the ages of 18 to 24. We have case managers on site who help them get connected if they're not in school, to get back into school, or to get into a trade school, or to complete their GED. We also help them to get employment, to put their legal documents in order. Sometimes they come to us without any birth certificates, or they haven't gotten their driver's license. So we try to get even an ID for them so that they can move forward with the services that they need. We also help them with counseling, and as well as drug and alcohol, any alcohol problems that they have. And ultimately, the goal is to help them get housing. And so then once we help them get stable, then they move into a housing situation, which could be an apartment. The Pride Center is right next door to the Winchester House. So we're happy to have them one right next to the other because they help each other out quite a bit. The Pride Center is a resource center for people who are still in foster care. And these young people can be between the ages of 16 to 18 and they're still in care. But we also help those who have left care and could be between the ages of 18 and up to age 24. Pride Center also has case managers, and they also work with these young adults, assisting them with staying in school or returning to school, again, to get their diplomas or their GED. The Pride Center partners with El Paso Workforce Solutions to help our former foster youth to find employment. And so that is really the primary goal of working with our young people at the Pride Center. Is it's funded by Texas Workforce Commission, and so they're really focused on getting our young people employed. We also have life skill classes for preparation for adult living, and these are available to young people who are leaving foster care. We have housing assistance programs that we really started up with in the last few years. And these housing assistance programs offer short-term housing of 1 to 3 months. And it helps with rent payments to homeless youth who are homeless or they're in danger of becoming homeless. Recently, because of COVID, we've been helping older individuals, older adults, 45 and older, along with their families and children. And this help has been in long-term rental assistance of up to 12 months. So we wanted to get people off the streets and into safe housing, especially during the pandemic, because it was dangerous out there for them, especially if they're homeless. And so we were very fortunate to get these funds to help in that capacity. We also have homeless youth services in what is called permanent housing for persons with disabilities and who have chronic homelessness, as well as transitional housing, and that is for youth needing longer term housing with more supervision. So this, in a nutshell, are the programs that we have and provide at El Paso Human Services, in addition to our child and adult care food program. So we're very fortunate. We feel very honored to be able to offer these programs in our community. So Elena has been telling you that there is a section in there's a little arrow up in the right-hand corner. And if you click on that arrow, and then you go down to where it says chat, you can type a question for me. Go easy. You can type a question for me in there that says, how old are you? Oh my God, did somebody put that question in there? I just typed it in. So I'm going to show you how easy it is. If you can see it, how old are you?
Susana, are you going to answer it?
No. I'm old enough. That's all I can say. I've been here a long time and I'm old enough. But if somebody wants to type a question in there, feel free.
You know what? We already got a question before you even asked, because people have been asking, daycares have been asking, more than one daycare has been asking us, what is the situation in our office? When will we get back to being open 100%, or are we even open right now?
Well, that's a very good question. We are currently in our offices in a type of skeleton crew. We're trying to be very, very careful. We did have infection among staff, as you know, it was unavoidable. But even so, we're trying to be very careful. So we've been returning to the office in small groups of about 4 or 5 people each day. Everyone is working at the office at least once. Some people are working twice a week, so that we can keep safe and so that we can keep each other separate. We have partitions, and we still have to wear masks for everyone that's either at the office or any visitors that come into the office. So if any of you are visiting, please be sure to bring your masks. And hopefully our goal, my goal, is to be able to open at full capacity. I'm thinking October with the new fiscal year, if all goes well and vaccines go up and our children, little guys, get vaccinated too. For sure, I'm gonna say, and I hope by January 1st. And those are predictions because we don't know. We hope that everything is gonna go well.
Thank you. Thank you, Susana. Yes, so we continue to work from home, and we continue to answer any and all of your questions and concerns. I think we're doing a good job. So we'll continue to do what we're doing. Another question that I received was from our daycare centers, but I guess you can address it for daycare homes as well. Did the rates of reimbursement change? Do they change every year? How does that work?
The rates the rates that you get paid and reimbursed for your meals change every July 1st of every year. And so that's a good question for right now because they just changed for this month. So it's going to show when you get the reimbursement for July.
Oh, that's easy.
And so
we're gonna have a test, you know.
I think I hear some background noise. Somebody may need to mute, please. So the rates did increase, and there is a little bit of good news. The childcare homes, the rate for breakfast increased by 1 cent. So you're going to get 1 cent for every breakfast, 1 cent more for every breakfast that you serve beginning in July, that you won't get reimbursed until August. So it starts counting July 1 this month. Lunch and supper increased by 2 cents. And the snack did not change. It remains the same. The centers and after school programs had an increase in breakfast of 8 cents for free and reduced. It increased 1 cent for paid. And the lunch and supper increased 15 cents, 15 for free and reduced, and 2 cents for paid. The snack increased 4 cents for free, 2 cents for reduced, and 1 cent for paid. So those are the rate increases. You can, if you want to find what the rates are there, you can always check on squaremeals.org, which is the Texas Department of Agriculture website. They're posted there along with explanations. You could look at the Federal Register, but that's difficult to read. So I hope that helps to answer that question.
Yes, thank you. And of course, if you need help finding those rates, we will be glad to help you. Actually, squaremeals.com or .org, it works either way. It gives you everything and anything that you need to know, so you can always access there.
That's correct. Thank you, Berta.
Okay, I have one last question unless somebody else has anything, but also we've been getting a lot of questions on the emergency operational cost reimbursement. If you could talk a little bit more about that.
I'm very excited about that. I think thank you for bringing that up. But because of COVID, USDA saw that we were all hurting financially. And so they started looking at what they could do to help us get some money back from the losses that we took last year. The Emergency Operation Cost Reimbursement, they call it the EOC, is for all daycare homes, for all centers. And you're going to receive a payment for your losses that you had during the pandemic. It's authorized by USDA. TDA, the Texas Department of Agriculture, already has the money. It was already received. We have been providing some information to TDA, but they're taking all of this from last year's reimbursement. So what you're going to get paid is not a full year, but what they did, or what USDA did, was they took the claim last year when CDC closed, when we closed down for the pandemic. It was the middle of March, about the 17th of March, somewhere in there. So they're going to take half of the month of March, all of the month of April, all the month of May, and all the month of June for last year, 2020. And they're going to compare it to the year before, which was 2019, for the same months. So they're going to take March, half of March through June of 2019. And they're going to take the difference between 2019 and 2020. Whatever that amount turns out to be, we will get, or you will get reimbursed 55% of that amount. So any losses that you took, and they're going to compare from 2019, which was a healthy year, to 2020, which was an unhealthy year. They take the difference of those two for 3.5 months. Then they take 55% of that. If you had losses, which almost everybody did, then you will get that 55% back in cash reimbursement. Right now, we're asking for assurance statements, because if you were closed during that time period and you reopened, it's okay. They're still going to take you into consideration. If you know of anyone who closed and they're still closed, they can still get paid if they promise to open within 90 days after CDC lifts the requirement for closure. So USDA wants homes and centers to get paid for losses. It's not a whole lot of money, I don't think, because it's half of a loss, but nonetheless, it will help with the recovery from COVID. So if you will probably receive payment here in the next few weeks. I'm thinking that between the middle of August and the end of August, you should be receiving a payment if you had losses. If you had gains, there won't be a payment. But most of you had losses, so you will get paid. Any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that is exciting to know that that is coming soon. We actually don't have any more questions. If anybody, we did have a hand up though from Guadalupe Rodriguez. Guadalupe, if you'd like to unmute yourself, or we can help you unmute yourself, if Ramon could please help with that. You may have a question or a comment. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it was by mistake that she raised her hand. Just a reminder, Guadalupe and everybody else, that we do have a chat at the bottom of your left hand, right hand, I'm sorry, side, and you can always type a question or a comment there. Okay, Susana, just to let you know, you did really, really good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your input, and you can always ask questions, not just today. You can always ask questions.
Always. It's good being with everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day of the training. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Terry, handing it back to you.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Susana. That was a lot of good information. So next up, we have Vivian Corral, and she will be talking about managing change through difficult times. Welcome.
And I'm so sorry to interrupt before Vivian starts. I apologize. We missed a question in the question box. And I guess, Susana, we need you just to answer this one really quickly. It's from Maria Duran. Is the same funding coming from the Workforce Commission? And if you don't know the answer, I think I can help, but you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm not sure what funding, if it's the emergency funding.
This is actually a separate funding that we sent out, the flyer that was sent to us last week. We really can't offer more than just the information and the links to get information. They're offering you coaching, but unfortunately, it's not coming from any place that we can help you with. You would need to follow the links and ask for help through them. I don't know if you have any more information as far as that's concerned, Susana.
I do not, I'm sorry, I can't answer that further. I do not know, I don't know more. Sorry,
Okay,
we'll look
thank
into it and get back.
There are links on the flyers that we sent, okay? If you click on there, they will be able to help you. Thank you for the question. All right, now, Terry, I'm handing it off to you again.
Okay, and again, I'd like for you all to welcome Vivian Corral. She will be talking to you about managing change through difficult times.
And Vivian, hello, Vivian. I don't want to interrupt you either, but I have to. Unfortunately, your handouts were not able to be included in the handout section of this training, but we are emailing them out to everyone. Okay, so I just wanted everyone to know that you will be getting Vivian's handouts. Vivian, I will stop you for a second there. Ramon, we can't hear her.
Okay, can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Again, my name is Vivian Corral. I too am a staff member of El Paso Human Services. My role with the agency is to provide emotional support and counseling to our youth. Bertha has kindly asked me to present to you on managing change through difficult times due to the pandemic. I am recovering from laryngitis, so my voice might be a little squeaky. If you don't understand, I'll be more than happy to repeat anything I say. Ramon's going to help me share my PowerPoint. We were unable to get it on the screen, but it will be emailed to you as Bertha has said. So with that said, Ramon, can you help me bring up the screen, and I'll go through it with all of you.
Just go
Can
ahead
you
and
all
share
see
your
my
screen, Vivian.
screen? On show screen, is that the one?
Yes.
Okay. Can everyone see that? Or
Yes, we can. If you can maximize it, or what's the correct word?
Put it in PowerPoint mode.
There you go.
How do I do that? Can you all see this or
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
still?
Ramon, would you mind guiding her how she can put it in PowerPoint mode?
At the bottom of the screen, Vivian, will you see where there's like a magnifier? There's like a little slider right next to that. There's like a little icon.
The slideshow?
Yes.
There you go. Okay. So my presentation today is going to be on managing change through difficult times as associated with the pandemic. I'm going to try to give you a little perspective on what's going on, what you've been feeling, and things like that, how to survive, really. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first slide is change due to the pandemic. It's been approximately 1.5 years since this pandemic started, and it's forced us to face many obstacles and changes in our lives. Some of those obstacles that we've encountered are, of course, adjusting to working at home and working with family. I know that's been a challenge for me. Adjusting to financial challenges, adjusting to revamping on how to conduct business. So I know a lot of you have been suffering with personnel changes and things like that. So I'm going to try to help you get some perspective. And of course, if you have any questions, as Bertha mentioned, you can ask me on the chat. I apologize for my voice, but I'm going to do the best I can. Effects of change. It's always been thought that human beings naturally resist change, but the truth is that we accept change all the time. We do not naturally resist change. What we do is we easily make changes that we believe are in our best interest. For example, would you resist accepting $1 million winning from a lottery sweepstakes? Instead, what we do resist is change that we believe is not in our best interest. But we always accept change. We always accommodate. We always adjust. Reasons people resist change and what we can do about it. The reasons we resist change is because people fear being different, especially when there's no previous example. And with this pandemic, with COVID-19, you know, it was like a play by ears, see what happens, mixed answers. Everything was very confusing. We have no example what to do. Even getting vaccinated was a big deal. I know I was initially told I could get vaccinated immediately, and then I caught COVID, and then no, 90 days, and then no, in 2 weeks you can. So it was up and down. It was very, very stressful. And that's what happens to us too. We become overwhelmed and stressed. Another reason people resist change is because people lack trust in the one making changes. Our president at that time, the medical advisors, they didn't know much about it, so they were unsure themselves. And that created lack of trust in us because, well, what do we do? What, you know, who do we believe in? Things like that. Another reason people resist change is because it brings on a new set of possibilities. But with possibilities, of course, come problems. The truth is, change is always happening. We are very resilient. We are very resistant. We adjust. We know that a new way or a new normal presents both possibilities and problems. But most would rather reject the possibility if it also means avoiding the problems. We're scared to encounter the unknown or journey into the unknown, even though there is hope, there are possibilities. You can balance resistance by creating certainty of the process of possibility. It's always important to focus on and take that route and not have tried it all, and then we think we should have done this, up with a we should have done this and done that. In order to help you understand this a little bit more, I'm going to present Alan Wolfowitz' process of reconciliation. Whenever we experience change, we experience loss. us have lost loved ones in this process. But this is also associated with primary losses. For example, loss of the way things used to be. That's the main one. You know, in order to help
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, but I believe that, let's see, Vivian, just 1 second. For some reason, you are muted again. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Vivian.
Okay, how do I go back on my screen, Ramon?
You know what? Your screen is frozen as well. For some reason, I don't know if it's your internet connection, but maybe you could just read it or talk to us about it. I apologize. It might be your internet connection.
Okay, I'll do that. Can I go back to the main screen? Ramon, I can't get back to the main screen, to the webinar.
You would just stop showing screen. So there's a big stop button. Just press that button.
Okay. Thank you. All right, as I was saying, I apologize for this. In evasion, we tend to, we go into shock, denial, numbness, and disbelief. The brain basically becomes a shock absorber, and it will not let us process anymore until it feels we are strong enough. But that gives us a time to let out these emotions and have a supporting presence there for us to help us, to support us. And this can last weeks, sometimes months. After that comes encounter, and this is where the brain is a little bit stronger. So we're starting to feel emotions, all kinds of emotions, confusion, anger, guilt, remorse, you name it, we feel it. But it's important to feel it and to name it, because this is part of the healing process. Emotions will always, when we go through a loss, our emotions are going to go up and down, up and down. That's the process. That's normal. That's what you want to see. That's a healing process. You don't want to be stuck in one thing or try to be strong and hold things back. You want to let things out. In encounter, the more we do this, the more we release our emotions, the more relief we're going to get, and we're going to get stronger. And this can last months. You know, it varies for everybody. No two grief processes are the same. After we go through encounter, then we come to reconciliation, which is really the healing part. It doesn't mean we get over anything. It just means that we are ready to reorganize our lives and move forward. And so that is the number one thing we have, the capacity to organize and plan one's life toward the future. We convert the loss to one of memory. We develop a new identity, obtain new meaning from the loss, and we also venture into changing things for the better. Even though there might be problems, we have the strength to do that. And this can be anywhere from 24 to 36 months. So based on what we've gone through with COVID, we're still in this recovery process. Some of us are in encounter, some of us are already in reconciliation. But there is hope, and we will get get through this. And that's another thing with this loss process, this grief process, is we normalize feelings. Like I said, we want to see this up and down feelings of emotions. One moment we could be okay, the next moment we could be angry, the next moment okay, the next moment crying, you know, frustrated, whatever it is. But that's the process you want to see up and down. What you feel is real, natural, and normal. It's not a sign of weakness, and many people around the world are experiencing similar feelings. Accepting and naming the emotion you feel or are experiencing is the first step in overcoming negative emotions associated with COVID-19. And the most important thing is converting negative emotions into positive emotions that will lead to resolution of challenges associated with the pandemic. So yes, it's frustrating. We're focused on the negative, but the main thing is to switch it over, focus on the positive, and resolve some of the challenges we are experiencing. So another emotion associated with what we're going through is stress. What can we do to manage the stress? So remember that what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for others. The key to alleviating stress is activity. So the more positive activity we are engaged in, the better for all of us. It could be anything. It could be walking, taking a time out, you know, whatever it is that you enjoy, you have to do more of it because it helps, it releases endorphins, and endorphins are another hormone that make us feel stronger and better able to face whatever challenges we have. We have to keep in mind that what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another. So what works for you, I don't know, I enjoy getting my nails done. You know, I don't know if Ramon enjoys getting his nails done, but you know, if that works for me, I'll go do it. Ramon, we're not going to push it. So we have to consider our significant others and children. Significant others will have other ways of coping. We support it no matter what it is. My husband likes to go play golf. Okay, go play golf, because that's a way of managing stress. Children do not necessarily speak out and say, I'm feeling stressed. You know, they react with their behavior. They get a little more aggressive, or they're just out of control sometimes. And that's how they express their stress. So it's important to understand and comfort them and help them through whatever they're feeling. Also, we need to be aware of the fact that disruptions in our routines send signals to the brain that something is wrong, which the brain could easily code as a danger in order to call on the body's defenses. So in order to avert that, we need to develop new routines and schedules that gives us a sense of control and helps us manage symptoms of anxiety, depression, and other emotions. So developing new routines. I know when I first started working at home, my husband was also working at home. So we had to convert our bedrooms to offices and, you know, do whatever we could to work at home. But it gave us a sense of control because we were able to combat some of the symptoms of associated with the COVID-19 and the pandemic. Another thing to manage stress is stay in touch with friends and family. It has a positive effect on our health. Research shows increased levels of the feel-good hormone, which is oxytocin, also the same as endorphins. We can not only obtain it from physical contact, but of course physical contact was limited. So social media interactions were an option. Keeping in touch through the Zoom chats, whatever, that was another good way of combating some of the stress. The internet offers us another means to stay in touch and be connected. Establish routines for checking and encouraging your friends and family using the various social media platforms. So keeping in contact through the internet, whatever, you know, you can do it, or do it, because it'll help manage the stress. And finally, I'd like to ask all of you, maybe you can tell me on the chat, what options have you adopted to help you adjust through the pandemic, or what challenges have you encountered and how have you managed those challenges? I give that question to the audience.
Vivian, while we're waiting for that, I know that one of the I guess, issues that we have been hearing from a lot of our daycares, and this is several of our daycares, is that they're actually struggling right now because they've had to adapt to becoming teachers, not just for their daycare children, but also for the virtual learning children. You know, they've had to take on the task of being the cook, the bus driver, so on and so forth. So a lot of times not finding time at all throughout the day. At all throughout the day to take time out for themselves. Sometimes not even a lunch period. So what advice would you have there?
To prioritize and schedule, do some time management. Taking a timeout is critical. So that would be priority. I would say develop a schedule and schedule your timeout, whatever it is, and you take that. It's called respite, and respite is taking time off from the stress. It's like a little mini vacation. You take time off from the stress, you reinforce your mind, and it does reinforce your mind, and you're able to come back and face whatever you're facing. But priority would be time out for yourself. It's called self-care. So schedule that time in, even if it's a morning routine, prayer, reading, watching TV, whatever it is you enjoy, you have to prioritize that. Otherwise, there's not going to be anyone to handle any of the challenges that might arise. Okay, one of the panelists is asked, or one of the attendees is asking, sometimes I feel guilty about taking a break or doing fun activities because there's so much negativity out there, illness, hospitalization, death. Again, we need to focus on the positive because the whole theme of this webinar is the rainbow after the storm. We need to get back to life. Don't feel guilty. It makes you stronger. It's scientifically, it's proven that when we take a time out, our brain is reinforced and we can come back and face whatever we're facing. But focus on the life that's still at hand and focus on fun activities. Enjoy your family, whatever you like doing, and come back to whatever it is. Do not feel guilty. Guilty is one of those negative emotions that I mentioned we need to change into something positive. We need to replace all those negative emotions with positive ones. Any more questions or comments?
There was another question, Vivian. You mentioned that you have to feel your emotions. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on that? What if I feel really, really sad? Am I going to sit down and just feel sadness? Or
No. You just identify, okay, I feel sad, but I'm not going to let this sadness get me down. I'm going to do something about it, or I'm going to do something for somebody else to help them feel better. Do not focus on the negative. I don't mean for you to just sit back and feel sad. You have to identify the emotion and confront it, basically. I feel sad. I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to do something so I don't feel sad. Something positive that I'm not going to feel sad. Replace the negative with something positive. The more you do it, it takes practice because we are all going through a grief process right now. The more you do it, the stronger you get, changing the negative to a positive.
okay, you mentioned doing something for others. Would that help me to get out of my sadness if I focused on the children of the daycare maybe, or started playing with them, joined in activities with them, or would that be?
Exactly. Exactly. And when you're doing that and you're enjoying it, that's your respite. You're reinforcing your mind to face whatever you have to face. You're making yourself stronger. That would be your activity. Are there any other questions or comments? Bertha, anybody else saying anything?
I don't see any others, Vivian.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
well,
Very interesting. And remember, we will be sending out Vivian's.
yes, it's been a pleasure. And if you have any questions, I'm sorry. Yes, and on that handout is my contact information. So if you have any questions later on or want to talk to me, I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. It's been a pleasure being with all of you this morning. Thank you. I'll turn it over to Terry now. I guess she's the hostess.
Yes, thank you, Vivian. That was very good information. Thank you so much for all of that very good information. So next up, we have civil rights, which you all have to listen very closely to, with Carmen De Leon.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Carmen.
Okay, so here we are again. Here we are again with our annual civil rights training. Remember, this is a requirement from the USDA. And it is, again, I need to mention that anything that you see here, any other information that you need, if you need any further training, it is in squaremeals.org, okay? Everything that we need to know about our program, about CACFP, SSAP, which is summer food, anything that you need is under that website. So I do suggest that you guys really get to know that website. I do get a lot of questions about, rates and training handouts. All of our handouts and paperwork is under that website. So I just want to remind you to go ahead and look at it. And again, the civil rights training is there. So let me go into the, since I can't really see this, is this in full screen? Someone?
Yes, it is, Carmen. Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm going to take myself off. Okay, so again, this is your annual civil rights training, which is mandated by the USDA. And every year we do have it. We do accommodate it into our annual training so that you don't have to go and do it on your own, okay? But it is always an option. You have it there for your employees if you need to go over any of the information that I will be showing you right now, okay? Okay, what happened? Okay. So according to the USDA, civil rights training is required, like I said, annually to every personnel, part-time and full-time, assisting with child nutrition programs funded by the USDA FNS. This training assists contact entities, which we'll be referring to as CEs, to fulfill the requirement, and it includes all the required topics. The most important, the purpose, of course, of this training, most of all, is to avoid violations of civil rights and to be able to detect them. Okay, sometimes this is a topic that I will be emphasizing through this whole presentation, is that sometimes civil violations are obvious and sometimes they are not. Okay, so hopefully with this training you will be able to detect them, and at the end of the training you will know what to do when you do detect these violations. Okay. one of the you know the most important objective of civil rights, and what are the elements that we look for when looking at these violations is the basis that are race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability. U.S. Congress has passed numerous pieces of legislation that prohibit discrimination based on these factors. And like I said, if you go under squaremeter.org, you will be able to see these pieces of legislation, which I will just go over them, but they should be, they should pop up into your mind because they're the American with Disabilities Act, the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Age Discrimination Acts, and just to name a few. So all of these pieces of legislation are there to protect discrimination based on these factors. The USDA implements these civil rights laws in its administration of child nutrition and good nutrition programs that apply to TDA contacting entities and anyone receiving partial or full funding under these programs. So let's talk about what is important in this topic, and then it is discrimination. And it's important that we understand the definition of a discrimination. Okay. So discrimination, as we know, is, let me see. I can't, okay. Is the treatment or consideration of making a distinction in favor or against a person based on the group, class, or category to which that person belongs, okay? It is very important. Like I said, sometimes we are very aware of discrimination, but sometimes we are not. So it is something that we call intentional or unintentional discrimination, and we will go over some examples of this so that you're able to kind of detect what it is. I'm all over the place with this. I can't see my screen. Okay. Unlawful discrimination in any form is strictly prohibited, whether a program is fully or partially federally funded. So you do have to be very aware, okay, because it is very much prohibited by, by the government and by anyone that participates in these programs that are funded by the government. This is a very important key point. Okay, unlawful discrimination, like I said, can be intentional or unintentional. What we're going to go a little bit over these examples of what we are saying about unintentional, because this might not be very clear. But let's see. We have here some examples of the unlawful discrimination, and sometimes you have separating genders, putting girls in a different place than boys. Sometimes that might be unintentional because you say, well, this sounds kind of okay if we put boys and girls separately, but it's not. It's really, it is looked upon as discrimination, and you might think of it, not really be aware of it, but any kind of separation, it is discrimination. Another thing that an example of this is giving one group a larger or extra helping. This also goes on a lot, and you might not think about it, but sometimes you think, oh, well, boys eat more than girls, and so you give them a little bit more, and this can be looked upon as discrimination. Another thing is closing any of these programs in areas that are easily accessible by all groups. Everyone, remember, has the right to equal access to our programs, and sometimes when this program exists in those areas that will serve more of the community, but because this community is very underserved and many people do not really want to serve this community, they close up those programs, and this can also be seen as unlawful discrimination. Failing to provide children with special needs accommodating meals. This is something that we're very used to in our daycares, okay? And if you're not careful, can be seen as discrimination. Sometimes when children have special dietary needs, due to, it can be a physical, doctor mandated, or any type of accommodation that they need with their meals, you do have to accommodate to them, okay? Otherwise, it is looked upon as discrimination. Not having the distribution of materials or program descriptions in other languages is also part of discrimination. So this is always accessible to you. If you need to distribute any of our rules and regulations, explanations, anything that you need, it should be accommodated to the language of the person that you're trying to serve. Of course, in our area, it would be Spanish. Some areas would be, other languages. So this also, if you are not careful, can be seen as discrimination. So be careful with this. One of the pieces of postings or paperwork that we have that is very specific to this topic is the Injustice for All poster. And everybody, our daycares and daycare homes should know that this Injustice for All poster should be in a place that is easily seen to everyone. So it must be prominently displayed. This is part of our rules and regulations. And it also should be current. There has been a change. There was a change for the Injustice for All poster. And even though right here you can see that the original poster should be displayed because of what we've been going with our pandemic, they are not given to us in their original form, but we were allowed to give you the link so that you could print it out and have it posted. And I do believe that it was in our July newsletter. There's the link. So there shouldn't be any reason that you don't have the updated one posted in your facility, and it should be in a place that everybody can see, that everybody can read. Also, as part of our monitoring that we do, this is one of the things that we check for. So be very careful for it, because if you do not have it in a place that is accessible to everyone, and if you don't have the current one, it can be a reason for a disallowance of the meal at the time of monitoring. So take your time and download this paper and put it up where everybody can see it. And of course, read the information in it. It has very valuable information on everything that we're talking about right now, and also how to report violations, okay? Another, in our monitors, like I was mentioning, when we do monitor, one of our questions is on, we do have a part in civil rights, and one of our questions as a monitor is, based on your observation, is there any discrimination by race, color, national origin, sex, age, or disability? So the monitor has to determine if this is being looked at, if this is going on or not. So also be very careful on that. Like I said, it might be discrimination that you're aware or not aware of it, but when we do go monitor, this is something that we look at, okay? And also in our enrollment forms, there is a place in the enrollment form in page 3, just above the parent signature, where all of this information is there for you. It's in very tiny print, so you might not have noticed it, but it is there. It is, you do have a definition of what discrimination is, and you have, again, the information on how to report these violations, okay? So again, this is a topic that we're very aware. This is a topic that is very important, and it is important that you do get your staff aware of it, that you get everybody that is involved with your organization aware of it, because We do have an annual training on it. It is important to the government to fulfill our program, okay? Right here in the next slide, so I'm gonna give you the information on how to report it. I'm sorry, somebody needs to mute. Okay, so the only way that you can report a violation on discrimination, it is either by mail, and here on the slide you can see the address, but like again, on your Injustice for All poster, on your enrollment forms, you have all of this information as well. I'm also providing you with the phone numbers where you can call to report any violation of discrimination. It can be inside of the center or somebody who came into your center and maybe saw this. So be very careful because, you know, violators of discrimination can be reported by anyone. It's important that you guys remember that complaints can only be done through these two ways. Like I said, mail or you can call. The contracting entities are not authorized to take any civil rights complaints. And then here you can see that a person is allegedly discriminated has the right to complain within 180 days of the alleged action. Complaints may be received and must be administered either in writing or verbally. So again, it must be done in writing or verbally through the telephone numbers that I told you. All complaints must be kept confidential, and the resolution of complaints is always encouraged at the lowest possible level. So make sure that you guys really look at all of this information. It is available to you many places, like I mentioned. Sorry, unintentional discrimination, be aware of it. You know, the other day I went to one of my daycares that I monitored, and they did kind of mention that sometimes, you know, they you know, the bulk of their population of children, like in many of our daycares, are Hispanic. And sometimes when we do get other races, children are curious, you know, they're curious and they ask questions, and you know, this is fine. You address those questions without getting into that unintentional discrimination. But, you know, as we know, children are not discriminatory by nature. They will ask questions. And I remember this, the owner of the center told me, you know, they started asking me a lot of questions because we did get somebody from a child from another race, which we don't usually get. And I said, well, you do need to sit them down and explain. And you know, and this is fine. This is fine. We are curious. We don't know. Children will say what they, you know, what comes to mind, and they don't do it out of any sort of, you know, mean streak or anything. So just be aware of this, and also make your staff aware of it, you know, aware that we do have all of these resources if you do find that you need to report it, but you know, you also need to talk about it, and we are aware of it, and not go into anything that'll bring any, you know, mean mean feelings or anything like that. Okay, so sorry. So before we go into our quiz, is there any questions on any of this?
There
In
is
your
a question,
Oh, okay, okay.
Carmen, in the box.
Mhm.
Can I please have the website to download? Arlene Andasola Lopez is asking, can I please have that website to download?
Okay, it's under squaremeals.org. If you go into that website, square, like, you know, the shape, squaremeals.org, org. That is a website that has all of the information. On the upper part of the website, there are tabs, and you see programs. And if you click on programs, you will have a drop down where it says CACFP, which is our program. And there at the end of the drop down, there is training. Okay. If you go into training, you will see all of our trainings there. You will see the civil rights, you will see our SFSP, any of our trainings are there. So that would be the website. Anything else?
That's all we have in the box, Carmen.
Okay. So on the handouts side of, on the right side, you do have the quiz. You have it there. So hopefully you guys did open it up. I will go through it, and I don't know how it's going to work as far as the answers, because I can't really see the chats or the questions, but I'll read the question and then give you maybe a, couple of seconds and see if any, just put the letter of the answer into your chat or question box and see if we are able to pass our quiz. Okay. So number 1 says unlawful discrimination can be A, intentional, B, unintentional, C, both. What do you guys think? Put it in your chat or question box, please. And somebody has to tell me if they're answering because I can't see.
Yes, they are answering, Carmen, and it looks like the majority of people are saying C. That the
Perfect.
answer is C.
Okay. So remember, it can be intentional or unintentional. Be aware of that. Okay. Very good. Number 2, you have leftovers following the last meal service period and you offer the extra to the boys. Is this practice discriminatory? Yes or no?
Majority of people are answering A.
Okay, very good. Remember, anytime that you single out something, someone in favor or against, that is discriminatory. Okay. Number 3, select the answer that has the correct 6 USDA FNS protected bases. Remember, we talked about this in, I think, the second slide. So is it A, B, or C?
I guess people are hesitating or they're thinking. I don't know.
This one,
Yeah.
this one can be a little bit confusing because you would think that many of the ones that are there in the other, in the different answers should be included, but it is actually A, which is race, age, sex, national origin, disability, and color. Okay.
Eventually, that was the majority that answered. Yes.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Let me go to the next slide. Okay. Number 4. A child whose first language is Spanish is asked to sit together at the Spanish-speaking table at a meal. Is this a civil rights violation? A or B? What are we getting?
It looks like an A. Yes, A.
Okay, very good. Remember again to repeat, anytime that somebody that you, you know, you say you go for one of the things, you do kind of suggest one of something that that is discrimination. Okay, that you point out something. So especially like we said, language, Spanish, it is. So you shouldn't not separate. Everyone should be together. Number 5, a finding of civil rights noncompliance may be the result of. I know I didn't really go through this, but this is very obvious. How would you see the noncompliance to the civil rights? Is it by routine management evaluation, special review, and investigation? All of the above? None of the above. What do you think?
We've gotten a couple of D's,
Okay.
but
Okay.
not very many people are answering. So maybe we
Okay.
need a little bit more
Yeah.
explanation.
Yeah. Yeah. We do have routine management evaluations to see this. And again, I did mention that when we monitor, we do see if you're under compliance for the civil rights. So it can be a special review or it can be an investigation. Remember, if somebody reports a violation, it can be an investigation. So all of these things are part of looking at non-compliances to civil rights. But like I said, remember when we monitor, we look at this. When we fill out our paperwork, we look at this. So, by any means that is an observation or a review or an investigation, that is how we kind of keep track of the non-compliance or compliance to civil rights. Okay, number 6. A CE is authorized to process a civil rights complaint, yes or no? Or true or false? Okay. Are we getting false?
Yes, we're getting B.
Okay, very good. Again, remember the only way that a complaint is processed is either by mail, by a phone call, okay? We are not the CE, the contracting entity is not responsible to receive any of these complaints. You do have to go directly to the source, okay? And the last one, and this is important, the injustice for all poster should be filed away under CACFP information. A, no, it should be clearly displayed for everyone to see. Or B, yes, as long as you have it somewhere in your paperwork.
We're getting A's all
Good,
over the
correct.
place. Yes.
Great. Remember again, the monitor, when we monitor, this is something very important that we look at. So it should be very clearly displayed for everyone to read. Take a little bit of time again to take your staff to it, maybe read what it says under it. It has all of this information. Again, I want to remind you that training on civil rights is ongoing and it's always there for you. And you should make your staff, make anyone that comes into your establishment aware of this, okay? So I guess that is it.
Thank you so much, Carmen.
Thank you. I don't know how to get out of here. Let me see. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, it's taking me a little while to get back in. Thank you, Carmen, for that civil rights training. It is very important that we do receive that civil rights training, so thanks again. Now we're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break so you all can run and do whatever you need to do. But it is now 10:33. So let's get everyone back no later than 10:40, okay? The sooner the better so that we can finish this wonderful training. See you back in 5 minutes. Hello, everyone. For those of you that have already come back from your break, before we get started again, our next performance or our next performers are going to be a bingo game. So on the handouts, if you haven't downloaded and printed your bingo card, make sure to do that at this time so that you can be ready for our next performance, which will be the bingo game. Thank you all. Okay, it is now 10:40, so everybody should be making their way back to the training. We're going to go ahead and continue. So our next session now will be Let's Have Some Fun. And this will include Jeanette Espino, Becky Gonzalez, and Victoria Olguin. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. I was wondering if our staff, we could only turn on our screens for this. It's only going to take about 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you, guys. So for this, let's see. Hi, everybody. El Paso Human Services and the Food Program would like to thank all of our daycare homes and centers for their outstanding services to the children and their families around our community. The past year was difficult and stressful for all. We encountered a global pandemic that required many changes and adjustments. Unfortunately, we also experienced many losses and including loved ones and stability. Daycares had changes coming from licensing, the health department, schools, and the food program. Thank you for being patient and working with all of us while still providing the children with the best care possible. But not only did you guys provide exceptional care, you guys also became a strong foundation for many children when it came to virtual learning. Without your support and hard work, many of our children would not have thrived during this past school year. Care providers, thank you for stepping up. We understand you guys managed to keep up with multiple student schedules. You guys were helping the children when they were lost and even dealt with the frustrations of the slow internet services. The accommodations you guys provided made a huge impact to our children. And when we say you guys made an impact, we truly mean it. On top of everything you guys already done, we want to thank the daycares that participated in our grab and go meals. You guys took an additional step to offer other community children nutritious meals. The pandemic led to many hardships. The daycares that participated in the grab and go meals were able to bless many families throughout the course of the pandemic. Thank you. And before we do end, I would like to remind everybody to start or to continue participating in self-care, as Ms. Vivian had discussed previously. We must not forget to give ourselves the permission to attend our individual needs. It's not a selfish act. As a matter of fact, it's a necessary action. And thank you guys. We truly are very grateful for everything you guys do. And just remember that after the storm comes a beautiful rainbow. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. So we're going to begin playing the game of bingo. Let's have some fun. For this game, there's, like in the instructions that said, each participant will only choose one of the 6 bingo cards, and there can only be one winner for each round. There's going to be 3 rounds, so there's a chance for you to win. Since there's only 6 cards and there's plenty of you, this is mostly a game of time. So first one to get bingo, quickly write on the chat your name, the bingo card, and, well, of course, bingo. The first one we get is the one that's gonna win. We're gonna check which card you have and if you have bingo, and then we will mark you for the prize. So I have this little container and it has all the bingo like cards. So I'm just gonna shake it. The first one is the daycare. It's a little image that has like a daycare. Let me see. There you go. And of course, you get one free for each card. You get one free. So that's an easier way to win. The next one, water. A little water droplet holding a glass of water. Has anybody gotten bingo yet? I'm just kidding. The next one is swings. And for you can win, you can either get bingo vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. The next one is and Justice for All. It has a little picture of the And Justice for All poster. The next one is teachers. A little teacher and a chalkboard. Next, we have chicken nuggets.
Real quick, Jeanette, Victoria, I just got a message. They want to know how they're playing the bingo. Is it straight across? Is it blackout? Is it vertical? They're not sure.
Like I mentioned, we're not going to do blackout because it's a lot of cards and it's a lot of space. So we're just going to do it, whoever gets bingo vertically, horizontally, or diagonally, whichever one. I hope that answered your question.
Victoria, what was the last one you pulled?
Chicken nuggets.
Thank you.
Next one is, oh, you got 3. Okay. Slides. Oh, yeah. Slides. It has a little kid going down the slide. This bingo is pretty fun. I try to put a lot of things that are done in daycares, whether it's the food that you guys give or the times that you guys do, like nap time, singing time, if you guys have them. Of course, there's a little bit of information for the centers and the daycares, like monitors or the Justice and For All poster. So if you want to play this with the staff or with the children, they may not understand most of them, but it's a fun game. Next up, we have blankets. Here we have little Donald Duck on a blanket. Next up, we have toddlers. Toddler and infants are a little different. They kind of, in the image, it kind of looks the same. It's like a little kid with diapers or not. So toddlers is different, but either way, it's toddlers. Next up, singing time. I'm not sure if most daycares actually have a singing time, but if you do, you can do your favorite nursery rhyme or like any cool songs like the Baby Shark. So it's always have fun to have a singing time once in a while. Up next, menus. It's a little small, but right here you can see a little picture of a menu. It also has menu on the title, so yeah. Next up, a little teddy bear. Has anybody gotten bingo yet?
Not yet, Victoria. We're keeping our eyes open.
Cool, 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 cool. I wish we had like a drum roll. That way this would be more mysterious. Who would get it? Next up, we have the little song of Baby Shark. Up next, we have a cute little broccoli that all the kids love to eat. Now, we're gonna have a sign out sheet. I have both a sign in and a sign out sheet. So this one is it says bathroom sign out sheet. Next, we have baby crib, a cute little baby in his crib. Now we have a cute little formula, baby formula.
I just have to say, Victoria, your little pictures are so cute. I love them.
Thank you. Thank you. Some of them are really small and really hard to see, so I tried my best to either make the lettering small or the picture smaller or bigger. So
We can see
I hope
pretty
you guys
much.
can see them.
We can see them, yes.
Cool. Cool. Next up, for all the pizza lovers, a cute little heart-shaped pizza. Now, we have an apple. And you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctors away. And also a closer chance to getting bingo. Now we have something that is needed for all the centers, paper towels. For the centers, for the homes, anywhere you need paper towels, you have a paper towel. Okay, now homework. We don't all enjoy doing it, but we have to do it. Up next, we have a daydreamer. Now, this is a little different from a daydreamer because kids play this all the time. It's playing pretend. Here's a little picture of a few girls. I think they're riding a rainbow or something, but they're all playing pretend.
Nobody's gotten bingo yet?
Not yet. They haven't told me anything.
Come
I
on,
hope I
ladies.
didn't make this too hard. Okay. Now we have peanut butter jelly time, a PB&J sandwich.
Away our prizes, ladies and gentlemen.
If we win, we get the prizes. So be sure to be the first one to play bingo. Okay, now everybody knows sharing is caring. So that's the next one. Up next, we have cute little peaches. Okay. Now we have another fruit, kiwis. Now up next is a sandbox. Oh, right, there you go, there you go. You can see a little girl playing in her little sandbox. Taking this around, not looking, and we have the game of tag. The beautiful art of paint.
We're getting close.
Yeah, I would actually think I have bingo, but I don't. Like one or two more. Okay, that's it. Here we have macaroni and cheese. I don't know if this is an actual time, you know, like a nap time, lunchtime, or anything, but here's counting. I guess it's learning time for sensors because every kid deserves to learn and all that. So, counting time. Here we have monitors. A cute little picture of a guy closely monitoring a house. Kind of creepy, but it's there.
Anybody yet? You all, are you playing? About how many more do we have, Victoria, before maybe there's a possible win?
For mine, I have a few that only need one. Yeah, one vertical or one diagonal. Others that just need two. So I guess it just depends on which card you have.
Okay, we'll wait and see.
crying. A cute little kid crying, which is sad, but it's crying. Up next is crayons. Now we have a car seat.
Hello. Sorry,
Hello.
the chat's not working for me.
Did you get bingo?
Hello.
Hi. Has anybody gotten bingo yet?
I have bingo. The crayon box daycare.
Oh, cool. And for what card is this?
Excuse me?
For what card? What bingo card are you
For
using?
the card, bingo number 6.
Number 6. Let's see what we have.
I
Does
have
anybody have
baby
bingo?
crib,
Mm-hmm.
baby crib, counting, free, peaches, and crying.
Yep.
3 peaches and crying. That is a bingo. Congratulations.
Yay!
Say it again.
The crayon box daycare.
Crayon box, congratulations. You got your first bingo card.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess in this one, we can play, we have 2 more rounds. Do we have time for 2 rounds?
We may have,
Why
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say maybe we can finish the cards you have to see if we have a second place winner. If they didn't clear their cards yet.
Of course, so kind of be like the blackout one? Is that what it's called?
Or another winner with horizontal, vertical, or diagonal.
Yeah, just another winner then. So we got a few more cards. Let's see. Up next, we have hide and seek. Everybody has hide and seek. Now, a cute little rainbow. Anybody has gotten bingo? No?
Yes.
Bingo.
Yes.
There you go. I was gonna say if nobody claims it, I get the bingo reward. Okay, so let's see. For what number is this?
I got bingo in card number 5.
Card number 5. Let's see.
I
So for
have
what letter?
monitors. Sorry?
Okay, continue.
Monitors, formula, rainbow, teachers, and singing time.
There you go. Congratulations. Your name was?
Congratulations.
Ruby Martinez.
Congratulations, Ruby. You just won a prize.
Ruby, from what day?
Thank you. From Time for Kids Daycare.
Thank you so much. And we also had another winner. We had Teresa Castro.
What card number did you have?
Ramon, can you unmute her, please?
Let me see.
Okay.
So other than, okay.
Yes, hi. This is Teresa
Hi.
from Tanta's Daycare, and it's card number 5 also, and it's the same ones that she mentioned. Monitors, formula, rainbow, teacher and singing time.
Okay. So since she was the first one to get to be able to say it, she won that bingo card. Do you have any other bingos or anything?
I just got a message from Maria Torres, home daycare, and she said she was trying to put it in the chat and then to speak up, but she was muted.
Oh, okay. So I believe lots of people had that same problem. For you, it was that too. So it was card number 5, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did anyone by any chance get a bingo on card number 2?
Perla. 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 Tú ganaste el number 2.
Number 2 is the first top row. Paints, Justice for All, Mac and Cheese, Rainbow, and Formula.
There you go. I have that one as well. So what's your name?
Kimberly with Kids Campus.
Okay, so right now we have our 3 winners, and I appreciate you all for playing. Like I said, this game was a first come, first serve kind of thing. So the first one to say bingo was the first one to mention their name. I know that there's been a few technical difficulties with the chat, but I appreciate you all for helping and playing. And that's all we have for today, right?
Yes, we do, except that we're having somebody chime in, our IT guy, and so we're gonna trust him because he knows how to work this thing better than I do. So what he's telling me is that Aggie from Aggie's Angels had chimed in first with a bingo. So I'm calling it. We're giving 4 prizes on this game. So we're adding Aggie to our list. Aggie Navar from, well, Morgan, I'm sorry, from Aggie's Angels.
So who are
Thank
going to be
you.
our winners, Bertha, just in case anybody wants to know?
Did you all write them down?
I have Ruby
The
from
Crayon
Time for
Box,
Kids.
Kids Campus,
Yeah.
Time for Kids.
Okay, did we include Maria Torres?
We have,
Yes,
No,
Bertha,
believe
I
not.
wrote them down. Bertha, I have them. I have the Crayon Box. I have Time for Kids. I have Maria Torres, Kimberly Kids Club, and Kids Campus, I'm sorry, and Aggie's Angels, Aggie.
okay, we
Those
also
are our
spoke,
winners.
to Terry from Tatas, and I find it fair to award her a prize too. So I'm sorry, I'm giving 6 prizes in this game, okay? And if anybody doesn't agree with me, well, I called it 6. We're including Terry from Tatas, okay?
Okay, sounds good to
Congratulations
me.
to all you winners.
Congratulations.
Now I guess we go over to Terry.
Yes. So thank you all. That was fun. And congratulations to our 6 winners. You will be receiving your gift through an email or possible mail. We will let you know, but look out for your gift. It'll be a gift card, okay? Thank you all. So our next presenter will be a cooking class. So all of you pay attention to this because this is a really cool cooking class with Claudia Sigala, Cooking Recipe for Success. Claudia?
Hello, beautiful daycare providers. Today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious tofu stir fry. You can find this recipe in your July newsletter and also in the CACFP Roundtable newsletter. So the original recipe makes 50 servings, but for today I'm going to cut it down significantly. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients you're gonna need: some firm tofu, some broccoli florets, some brown sugar, and I got the light version, but you can get whichever you like, red bell peppers, a red onion, and our condiments. We're gonna need some soy sauce, some minced garlic. Salt is gonna be optional, and some olive oil. First, we're gonna start by washing our veggies, and we're gonna give them a nice bath. Don't forget the onion. Then we're going to drain our tofu. So you're gonna slice a little slit in your tofu package, and you can see how it is in water. And you're just gonna drain that out. And then you're gonna wanna squeeze all the excess water as much as possible using paper towels. So squeeze as much water as possible. You might need a lot of paper towels. Then we're gonna wrap that baby up in some more paper towels and squeeze that out. And then we're gonna set it to one side while it drains just a little bit more. Now it's time to cut our veggies. Take your red onion and chop, chop, chop. Little bite-sized pieces is best. And onto our red bell pepper. The recipe says to cut it in long strips. But for little mouths, we might want to cut those just a little bit smaller. Next, we're gonna take our broccoli, and I used half of one bag and make sure they're in florets. Next, we're gonna cut our tofu into little bite-sized cubes. And don't worry if your tofu falls apart a little bit. Sometimes that happens, but it's okay. Just make sure you cut them in little bite-sized pieces because we're feeding little mouths. So now that we have our veggies washed and cut and our tofu is ready to go, we can get started. So for this recipe, I used about a teaspoon of garlic, a tablespoon of olive oil, about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and about half a tablespoon of brown sugar. Once your skillet is nice and heated, then you're going to toss in your tofu cubes. And you're going to let them get nice and brown on each side. You hear that sizzle. Then you're going to go ahead and add your garlic, and you're going to toss that around until you can smell the delicious aroma coming through. Next, add your brown sugar and only half of your soy sauce. So set half of the soy sauce aside and toss 1/2 of that into your tofu. And you're going to mix that around until it's well blended. And then you're going to separate the tofu and put it in a bowl or a plate. And now on to our veggies. So you might want to add just a little bit more olive oil to stir fry those delicious veggies. And then you're gonna add the other half of that soy sauce that you put aside. And we're going to stir until those veggies get nice and tender. So as I was stirring, I noticed that those broccoli florets were pretty big. So I went ahead and I cut them down to smaller pieces. And look at the color of those veggies. Now it's time to serve. So make sure that you portion out the veggies and the tofu depending on what age group you're serving. So first, put some veggies on the plate, and then we're gonna put our delicious tofu on top. And for some extra yum, ooh, that looks good. For some extra yum, you can add some brown rice on the side and make sure you portion that out as well. And voila! Yummy tofu stir fry. Let's see what the teenager thinks. She loves it. And this big kid seems to love it too. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I hope that you get inspired to make this for your kiddos as a wonderful substitute for your protein, and enjoy. See you soon.
I'm hearing a lot of background. But I want to say thank you. Yeah.
Excuse me, Claudia. I think that we're hearing a lot of background because I had asked Ramon to unmute everyone.
Dominic, am I mute?
Any questions,
Looks like I'm
comments, but it's not working. So Ramon, can we please mute everyone again? Thank you. If you need to ask a question or comment, you can unmute yourselves. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Claudia.
No, I just wanted to say hello and thank you for watching my little cooking video. So here's a little secret about me. I'm not the greatest cook. So the fact that I could pull that off means that that recipe is quite easy and it looks really beautiful and it tasted really good too. So it also lends itself really well to substitutions, and you can change the tofu to chicken or turkey, ground turkey, or even ground beef. And but if you've never tried tofu, it's a great substitute for your protein and it's really delicious. And this recipe in particular was really good. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments or anything.
You said you can get this recipe in the newsletter, right?
Yes, so this recipe was part of the July newsletter. It was linked in because it's actually from the CACFP Roundtable newsletter. And that's why the original recipe makes 50 servings. So if you wanted to make for a lot of kids, that recipe will give you the exact ingredients and the amount for more. This one that I did a much smaller portion But yes, so it's linked in our July newsletter along with a lot of other recipes from the CACFP roundtable.
Thank you, Claudia. I would just like to remind everyone that in your newsletters, you do include a lot of recipes, and they are all kid friendly, and some of them do come with instructions as to how to prepare for larger amounts of children. So please read her newsletters and you will get a lot of ideas from there. Anybody else have any questions? Ramon said that if you have any questions, raise your hand and he will be glad to unmute you at any time during this training. I don't see anything else. So thank you, Claudia, and we'll hand it back to Terry.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, well, that looked absolutely delicious. And I think I'm going to be trying it for my big kids here at home. Thank you, Claudia. That was great. Okay, so next up for our presenter, we have Angelica Terrazas. And she is going to be talking about Let's Get Down to Business.
Good morning. Ramon, can you put up the presentation, please? All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Angelica Terrazas. Thank you for joining us today for the CACFP training. I'm the Assistant Director at El Paso Human Services, and one of my roles and responsibilities includes supervising the various program coordinators at our agency. As you heard Susana this morning, she told you about the various different programs that we have, and there are quite a few. So to oversee those, we have 4 program coordinators and 2 co-coordinators. My other duties include searching for funding opportunities, writing grants, developing the various programs, evaluating the program outcomes, submitting reports, and ensuring that our staff implements the programs as they were meant to be implemented. And that includes having the staff provide excellent services. Today, I'm happy to be here with you to conduct this presentation titled Let's Get Down to Business. All right, so I'm sure we have all dreamed about making money, lots of money, right? Some of us have gone to college and university to get specialized training in hopes of getting higher paying jobs. Others have stayed in the same employment for years and worked their way up and got raises and promotions. And there are some of us that play the lottery, right, on a regular basis, and we're hoping to win $1 million, well, more than $1 million. But many of you have created your own businesses, and you've opened up daycare centers or your own daycare home, a dance studio, or even a martial arts facility. For all of you who are business owners or business managers, you have a business frame of mind, and you have put many hours into your business and have probably expected a good financial return from it. So let's take a look at the many steps you have taken to create your business. When you first created your business, you had to get a business license, right? You had to register your business with the state of Texas as a nonprofit or a profit or a for-profit entity. You created a business management plan and you set up the management structure with employee policies and procedures, program policies and procedures, financial management, the pay structure, and on and on. Sometimes you've had to go back and review some of these management plans, and you've had to make changes that work better for your business. You also had to find a building for your center. And if you're a daycare home, you had to prepare your home to meet the child care licensing regulations. This means you had to structure the space so that you would have separate areas for the infants, toddlers, preschoolers, and school-aged children, and office space for yourself, as well as an entrance area where parents can sign their children in and out, a kitchen, and maybe an eating area. And you had to make sure that it would pass the city inspections and child care licensing. In addition, you also needed to ensure that you maintained the building on an ongoing basis, whether you leased it or owned it. Everything needs to be in working order. As a business owner, you've also had to hire staff. You as the owner may be the manager, or you hired a manager or supervisor. You had to hire the right people to fill the roles of bookkeeper, teachers, care providers, cooks, etc. They have had to pass background checks and have driving records, and they may need certain certifications, such as educational certificates, first aid and CPR training, and a food handler certificate. You also obtained other licenses and certifications, which included the child care license and the background clearances for your staff. You also needed the occupancy certificate for your building, a fire inspection, and other certifications. And then you had to equip your building, your center, or your home with tables, chairs, mats, books, toys, cribs, safety equipment, fire extinguishers, computers, printers, faxes, kitchen equipment. That's a lot of things that you had to put in there, right? So you have, if you take a look at this, you have really accomplished a lot. And you've come a long way just by doing that, right? Well, let's see what happens when somebody doesn't have the business structure. You can't simply set everything up and expect it to run by itself. You have to implement your management plan every day that you are open for business. So let's take a look at this short video. It's a clip of the preview for the Daddy Daycare movie. And it's an old movie, so many of you have probably already seen it. But it's about a married man who has a child, and he loses his employment, okay? He loses his job. So he decides to open up a daycare, and he hires some of his friends, thinking that it's going to be a relatively easy process. Let's watch this preview clip.
There once was a herd of elephants, and they all say,
Do it again.
oh no, I can't do it again because then Daddy may have an aneurysm.
Charlie Hinton could afford to give his son everything.
Princeton for preschoolers. You say this Chapman is the best, right? It's the best. Our son gets the best.
But everything is about to change.
We're shutting down the whole division.
How was your day?
I lost my J.O.B.
Bye, baby. I'll be at the office.
Okay, well, just make sure you call us and let us know when you're coming back. We'll be here waiting, just the two of us.
From Revolution Studios.
I need a job, a real job. Fry cook.
Desperate times.
Someone opened a decent daycare program around here, they make a killing.
Call for desperate measures.
A daycare center, you and me. You're already taking care of one kid, how much harder can 10 be? 10 times?
You know what type of responsibility that is?
Yes, and I'll be just as careful with them as I am with Ben. Oh, hey, man, don't be just rubbing your head into stuff.
Now, they're prepared to go.
I give it 3 days.
Where no daddy has gone before.
Can't men do anything that women can do?
No. No, we can't.
This season.
Welcome to Daddy Daycare. Don't panic, because they're like animals. They can smell fear.
Chaos.
We're going to have to up our game today, all right? We need some structure and some planned activities.
We need Ritalin and leashes. That's what we need. Rules.
Okay, you're gonna take these and go on with your bad self.
Eddie Murphy.
Hey, big guy. How'd it go in there?
I missed.
What does that mean?
I missed.
What?
Oh, Daddy Daycare.
All right. So in this Daddy Daycare movie clip, you see that the dad did not properly prepare and plan for his daycare business. You see what can happen if you don't have the business structure and order that is needed to run a daycare or a similar business. This is not to say that men cannot own or run a daycare business, so we are not being sexist nor discriminatory. In fact, if you watch the movie, you know that the daddy daycare ends up being a very successful, and the owner and staff get organized and they set up a good structure for the children. As well, we have several male-owned and managed daycare sites under our CACFP sponsorship. Fernando Nájera and Gabriel Barcorta own and manage daycare homes. We also have Francisco Sanchez, Sergio Rodriguez, Johnny Orozco, Richard Powers, and Antonio Rezendes, who own childcare centers. So you know that it takes a lot of planning, structure, and ongoing business implementation. Often it requires for you to make adjustments along the way. If something isn't working, then you make adjustments, but they have to be legitimate and according to the rules of the program. All right, let's take a look at CACFP and SFSP. The CACFP and SFSP they're federally funded programs, right? The Child and Adult Care Food Program is federally funded nutrition program administered for Texas by the Texas Department of Agriculture, and it reimburses part of the cost associated with serving approved meals and snacks to children and adults in Texas. One of the CACFP goals is to improve and maintain the health and nutrition of children and adults. It's also intends to promote development of good eating habits and integrate nutritious food service with organized child and adult daycare. Notice that the goal states with organized child daycares, okay? Organization and organized is a key word. The SFSP goals are to ensure that the children in low-income areas continue to receive nutritious meals during long school vacations, and to partner with community organizations and other businesses. So CACFP and SFSP are a component of your business, and because they are federally funded components, it's highly important to follow the regulations of each. Federal dollars means there are strict regulations that must be followed. The reimbursement for meals served to children in daycare homes, child care centers, after school at risk, and summer food service programs must go back to the food program operations at your business. Every dollar must be accounted for and can be used to pay for staff, purchase food, milk, supplies related to the program, kitchen equipment, and anything else that's allowed by the program. The CACFP regulations state that neither the sponsoring agencies, which is us, El Paso Human Services, nor the participating sites, which is you all, the centers and homes, can make a profit with food program funds. So we cannot make a profit. That means that we cannot cover expenses that are not allowed, and we cannot make extra money on the program, or save some of that money each month for other things, such as paying for staff that have nothing to do with the program, or paying for vacation travel, or purchasing our own personal groceries. We really need to be clear with that with what is an allowable purchase and what is not allowable. If you're not sure if something is allowable or unallowable, please contact our program staff. It's preferred that you contact them via email because you can always refer back to that email. And again, remember, we can't make a profit. So let's look at the CACFP business component, okay? The CACFP and SFSP are business components that you as a provider have agreed to implement according to USDA and TDA. There are very specific tasks that need to be implemented in order for the program to be successful and for you to be able to receive the reimbursements for the meals that you serve to the children at your sites. First, you must have the parents correctly complete and sign the enrollment and income eligibility forms, and then you must submit them to our staff for review and acceptance. You also need to plan the weekly menus for the meals you are serving and determine the amount of food you need to purchase based on your average daily attendance. This is actually a great tool because it helps you develop your shopping list. You must purchase the correct amount of food, milk, and supplies necessary for the food program. The program then requires you to submit the inventory and receipts to our staff and enter the amounts in the center pilot or minute menu, as well as submit them to our staff. This allows you and us to track your expenditures and ensure that you are purchasing sufficient amount of milk and that you are feeding the children according to your menus. It also allows us to ensure that you are spending your reimbursement on allowable food program purchases. Of course, your daily food program operations include meal preparation according to the plan menu and conducting meal counts at the point of service. So point of service means when you are serving the children the meals or the snacks. It doesn't mean the next day or 2 days later. You need to have a system and staff in place to be able to complete these tasks. So why are we reviewing these things today? This is a reminder of the CACFP procedures that have been set up by USDA and TDA and that are required. These are mandatory and need to be followed according to the regulations. The job of our staff is to ensure that you are following the regulations. If you're a child care center, you sometimes get a call from one of our staff saying you haven't entered the meal counts onto Center Pilot, or that you didn't purchase enough milk, or that the eligibility form wasn't signed. You also get monitored every 3 to 6 months. These are systems that we have set up to provide you with technical assistance and to ensure that you are managing the CACFP components of your business and complying with the program regulations. So just a quick review in terms of what program compliance means. Compliance means adhering to a rule, such as a policy, standard, specification, or law. In business, compliance is linked to the framework of rules, regulations, and practices under which a company operates. In CACFP and SFSP, compliance means following the program rules set forth by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Texas Department of Agriculture. So how do you know about the regulations, or who provided you with these rules? When you came into the program, you were trained and received a packet of information with the rules. Every year you receive training and you receive ongoing technical assistance from our staff. In fact, the monitoring reviews are set up to check to see if you are following the program rules and provide you with feedback and training or technical assistance to improve your food program operations. You also receive monthly newsletters, which I hope that everybody is reading. These contain some important information, including the technical assistance. We have included information on milk purchases. For example, 2% milk is not allowed. Information about inventory and receipts. Information about links for correcting errors. You've heard about the purples on Center Pilot, right? You've also received reminders on submitting your enrollments and eligibility forms. Plus, the newsletters also contain fun activities for the children and meal recipes like the one that Claudia just shared with you. The newsletters are in English and Spanish, and you can save them for future reference. These are all tools that we use to facilitate you to adhere to the program regulations. Program compliance also means that each of you and each of us must implement program integrity. So what's program integrity? Program integrity means that no matter which daycare, home, center, after-school program, or summer food program that we visit, the food program component should look the same with very few differences. Program integrity starts with a positive attitude. For example, saying, today's going to be a great day, or we have the best daycare and the best staff, or I know that I can enter all of the necessary information onto Center Pilot or Minute Menu on time. Program integrity is also doing what you're supposed to do and doing the right thing, even when nobody is watching. This means compliance to the program regulations. For example, daycare homes, if you have a capacity of 12 children, you cannot claim for more than 12 children at any one given meal. Or child care centers. If a child is absent, you cannot claim that child for meals or snacks on that day. Now you might be saying and thinking, ay, Angelica, I know that. Well, I have to share this with you. You may know it, but it's a very common finding in monitoring reviews. Don't try to cheat the program. These are federal dollars, and continued offenses will be found and they'll be investigated thoroughly. If not by us, then by TDA. There are actual cases in Texas and throughout the United States of persons having conducted fraud in the CACFP, and they have been charged and convicted of felonies. Program integrity is also knowing that all problems have solutions. If Center Pilot is down, what should you do? You should notify your program monitor, Berta or Terry, and in writing preferably, and use paper attendance meal counts until the system is back up. You'll have to keep those paper meal counts for probably 3 years, and you'll have to keep them as a backup in case you get monitored. Program integrity is also reviewing your work, correcting errors when you find them or when our program staff finds them and asks you to correct them. Once you get the hang of things, establish a routine. Once you train your staff on their food program duties, the process remains the same every single day. It becomes a routine, right? However, if you and your staff cut corners on a regular basis, then that becomes the routine. But it's the wrong routine, and it can get you into trouble. Correct habits and routines will produce positive outcomes on a consistent basis. Each year, the Texas Department of Agriculture holds a conference for all Texas CACFP, SFSP, and school lunch program sponsors and child care centers and daycare homes. A few years ago, TDA conducted a presentation on program integrity and introduced Captain Integrity. This is the logo of the superhero that you're seeing in front of you. And this was to illustrate the inner strength that comes from adhering to the principles of program integrity. So Captain Integrity is a reminder to all of us to practice program integrity. This slide is directly from their presentation. So TDA asks all of us to demonstrate commitment and the desire to meet high professional standards. They know that we are all professionals. They take your business seriously. Whether you're a daycare home with 9 children, a child care center with 35 children, or one with over 100 children. Whether you're a dance studio or martial arts, or even an emergency shelter feeding kids during the summer or at-risk kids. Your business is considered to be important and your staff are viewed as professionals. Feeding the children nutritious meals is extremely important, so much so that there are lobbyists in Congress today working on getting higher reimbursement rates, paperwork reduction, and higher wages for child care workers. Please demonstrate the commitment and dedication to customer service excellence for children in need, the children that you serve every day. Pelé, the famous soccer player, said, "Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do." And Thomas Edison, the great American inventor, said, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time." I encourage all of you to keep trying and not give up. I know that you're facing challenges in hiring and keeping staff, getting internet service that isn't slow, learning the new center pilot, or time constraints caused by the shortage of staff and the slow internet. It may feel like you just want to give up and wave the surrender flag, but please hang in there. Keep trying, keep moving forward. I really believe that you will find the staff to help you and you will get used to Center Pilot, and it will become easier to complete and submit your forms, your attendance, meal counts, inventory and receipts, and any other requirements in a timely fashion. Let me go back. I have one more short video of encouragement for you. This is by a young boy known as Kid President. It's also around from 2013, and you may be familiar with some of his videos. It's called A Pep Talk from Kid President. Ramon, if you can help me get that up. Is Ramon assisting me?
I believe he
I
is,
think we
Angelica.
all need a pep
Okay.
talk. The world needs you to stop being boring. Yeah, you. Boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're gooder than that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, aren't we on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team, be on my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something. A poem. Two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled. It hurt, man! Really bad. Rocks, thorns, and glass. My parts broke. Wah! Not cool, Robert Frost. But what if there really were two paths? I want to be the one that leads to awesome. It's like that dude Journey said, don't stop believing unless you dream stupid. Then you should get a better dream. I think that's how it goes. Get a better dream and keep going. Keep going, and keep going. Will Michael Jordan have quit? Well, he did quit. No, he retired. Yeah, he retired. But before that, in high school, what if he quit when he didn't make the team? He would have never made Space Jam. And I love Space Jam. What will be your Space Jam? What will you create will make the world awesome? Nothing if you keep sitting there. That's why I'm talking to you today. This is your time. This is my time. It's our time. We can make every day better for each other. If we're all on the same team, let's start acting like it. We got work to do. We can cry about it, or we can dance about it. We were made to be awesome. Let's get out there. I don't know everything. I'm just a kid. But I do know this. Is everybody's duty to give the world a reason?
All right, I love this video. It reminds us, Kid President reminds us to be awesome and to work together and to dance through the storm and dance through the rain. And that way we will also be dancing at the end of the rainbow, right? If you have any questions or comments, will you either put it in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask a question? We're here to help, and we want to know how we can help you. And if there are no more questions, I want to thank you for your attention, thank you for your time, and thank you for the very valuable service that you all provide in caring for the children of our community and serving them the nutritious meals every single day. We're here to provide you with assistance, and we look forward to hearing from you. And don't hesitate to call or email us. Let's be awesome, and everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you.
I think I see a question.
Okay.
Can you read it to us, Ramon, please?
It's Sandra Lozada. I'm going to unmute her in case she wants to ask it.
Can you read the question? Because I'm not seeing, I don't see those.
Yeah, there's no question. It just says Sandra Lozada. So I'm assuming she has a question.
No, I don't have a question. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. If there are no more questions, or if there aren't any questions. Terry, can we hand it back to you?
Yes, you can. Thank you so much, Angelica. That was great. I loved your presentation. So I wanted to thank all of our presenters today. We are not quite finished yet. There are still a couple of announcements that I want to give before we do sign off on this training. So I just want to give a couple of reminders to you all. I know that it has been a very difficult year and a half or so that we've been going through this COVID, and we're all trying to get back into it. And some of you are still short-staffed, and it's very difficult at times to get your paperwork in on time and or to get those menus and attendance done. But as a reminder, we really, really, really need you all to do that as soon as you can. Remember that receipts and inventory are due every 5th working day of every month. And I do want to ask you all to try to get that in on time, because as you know, we have a lot of daycares that we have to review, and we want to get that done before the end of the month so that we can get everyone paid on time. So as a reminder, if we do not have that paperwork in on time, your claim will not be sent in and you will not get paid till the following end of the month. So please, please try to get your paperwork in on time. If you're running into problems that you just can't do anything about, let me know. Send me an email, a text, call me. Just let me know if you all need any more time, and we'll work with you. But if I don't know, then I'm just assuming that you haven't done it. So please just try to get that paperwork in on time. Also, enrollments, and when you have to renew your enrollments, please try to get those in on time as well. I know that sometimes it's difficult to get those parents to sign, and therefore it's difficult for you all to send us those enrollment forms. But the sooner you update those enrollment forms, if they have to be renewed or if you have new children in your daycare, the sooner you get them to us, the sooner we can, Christy and Victoria can activate those enrollments, and the sooner your claim will be processed as well. So that at times can hold your claim back if we do not have those enrollment forms signed in our at El Paso Human Services. That can delay your claim, therefore it will delay your check. So please try to get those enrollment forms in on time as well. Also, menus and attendance, get those in daily. weekly, don't hesitate. I mean, I know that there are times that you are short-staffed and it's difficult to get that attendance in, but there are times that we have a whole month, it's the end of the month, and the whole entire month is not done. So please try to get that done as soon as possible so that it doesn't delay us from sending your claim in and or from you all getting your paycheck in on time. Okay. I also want to send a reminder to the ones that are doing the summer food program right now. The paperwork is the same as far as inventory and receipts. It is treated as a different program. So just like the at-risk, when you're doing your paperwork for traditional, you're also doing it for at-risk. That includes inventory and receipts. All the paperwork is the same. You're just entering the receipts in that specific program. So for summer food, those of you that are doing it, please turn your paperwork in as well. It's considered separate, as well as your at-risk when at-risk gets started again. Also, I want to let you all know that since we are still working from home, and even if we weren't, there are times that we need to get a hold of you. For whatever reason, we will call you, we will send you a text, we will email you. If we can't get a hold of you, please return our calls or our texts or our emails. That way we do know that you received our messages, that you're working on whatever it is that we're asking you for, and that you will get it to us as soon as possible. Again, communication is key, so please, we are trying our best to help you all, but we can't help you if we really don't know what the problem is. So answer our texts or our phone calls or our emails as well, and let us know what's going on so that we can be there to help you. We are all here to help in any way possible, so just let us know. Okay, the certificates for this training will be emailed to you within a week or so. Okay, so whatever email we have on file for you that was the link was sent to is the same email that we're going to use to send your certificates out. So make sure that that is the right information so that you will be receiving your certificates at the right place, okay, at the right email address. Okay, are there any questions, concerns, suggestions, opinions? Now's the time. Anybody? Is there anything in the chat? Because let me see.
No, Terry, we don't have anything.
Okay. All right. Well, then, if we do not have anything, this concludes our
Terry, would you mind if I just chime in?
Go ahead.
Can I chime in? I'm sorry. I just have a couple of things that I would like to add to what Terry said. This training is recorded, and so you will be provided with a link. If you registered for this training, you will be provided with a link for the recording. We will also post it in our YouTube channel so that you can access it there if necessary. The civil rights training, like Carmen had said, I just want to stress that anybody in your staff that is participating in the food program at any capacity has to receive the civil rights training, okay? So you can always go to that link that Carmen gave you and they can take the civil rights training there. If you are audited, they will be questioning you as to whether or not you have that training. That is why we offer it to you every year. And it does have to be taken at least once a year. Okay, and just to stress, like Angelica was saying about our newsletter, if you're not receiving a monthly newsletter, then you need to let us know. You should be receiving it in both English and in Spanish. There's a little button that you can click and either receive it in English or in Spanish. But if you're not receiving the newsletter, we need to know, okay? Let us know as soon as possible. One more thing, the enrollment forms, both in the homes and in the centers, should come from your computer program. you should not be doing them by hand. Okay, when you register the children in your computer program, then you print the form, then you sign it, and then you turn it into us. If you do it by hand, if you do the complete form by hand, we cannot accept it. So we're going to return it to you. Okay. I believe that that's all that I have to say. Thank you very much for attending. And I will hand it back to Terry.
Okay. So if there are no further questions, this concludes our Rainbow After the Storm training. Thank you all, and continue doing what you're doing. We appreciate you. Bye-bye.